Howdy students, last page. Got a radius of 4, that gives me another radius of 4 over here. And taking it at this point, I've got a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. 16 plus x squared is equal to 144. So x squared is going to be equal to 128. Take the square roots, assuming they want us to do this in simplest radical form. This is 64 times 2. 64 is going to be 8 and 8. Pull one of the 8's off, and we'll get 8 on the outside from this, and a 2 on the inside as a leftover. So 8 squared is a 2. 32, find AB. We've got 120 degrees. If this radius is 6, then this radius will also be 6. That makes this an isosceles triangle. Got 120 degrees out here, which means I have 120 degrees inside here. If I drop a perpendicular down, I'm going to bisect that angle, and that's going to give me 60 and 60. This makes this a 60, 30, 90 triangle. This is on the 2 side, so my scale factor is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. I'm looking for the square root of 3 side. With my scale factor being 3, 3 times 2 is 6. It's going to be 3 squares of 3 on my long leg. So if I have 2 of those for AB, it's going to be 6 squares of 3 as my answer. This one down here, take that radius, slide it up to where you need it, and I will get c squared is equal to 2 squared plus half of x squared. We'll call that y. 9 is equal to 4 plus y squared. So 5 is going to be y squared, or think about it a different way, y is going to be the square root of 5. X is twice of y, so 2 y's will be x, 2 squared of 5. Looking at this next one, I've got a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle. So opposite angles have to be supplementary. If this is 91, this is going to be 89. If this is 50, this is going to be 130. And again, they add up to 180 degrees. So that puts B at 89 degrees, and that puts C at 130. They're going to ask us for some arcs. BD corresponds with A, so double A would be 100 degrees for BD. ABC is right here, corresponds with angle D, so double 91 would be 182 degrees. And then DAB corresponds with angle C, and that will give us 260 degrees. All right. Prime factorization for each number. Now these are all the prime numbers that multiply together. This is 2 times 9, and 9 is 3 times 3. So 2 times 3 times 3, or 2 times 3 squared, is going to be that answer. 44, I've got 4 times 11. 4 is 2 times 2, so we got that 11, so you can write 2 times 2. You can also write it 2 squared. 61 is going to be prime. No numbers go into 61. GCF, greatest common factor. 5 is the biggest number that goes into those two. This one is a little tricky. 18 goes into 36. So you can grab that whole number as a common factor. Here, 2 goes into 10 and 12. I've got at least 2 A's in each number, and I've got at least 1 B in each number. 6 is going to go into 24 and 18. I've got at least 3 M's. I've got at least 2 N's in both of them. All right. Factor out the greatest common monomial factor. They both have a 4. They both have an x. Nothing else in common. Once I divide the 4x out of 12x squared, I'm left with 3x. And when I divide the 4x out of 4xy, I'm left simply with just a y. The next one, they both have a 3, and they both have at least 1 q in their factors. I divide that 3q out of 3q, I'm left with a 1. And when I divide that 3q out of 9q squared, I'm left with a 3q. The next one looks intimidating, but it's just long. I think 12. 12 is going to go into all of them. I've got x squared, x5, and x3, so x squared will go into all of them. y3, y4, y2, so y2 will go into all of them. z, z3, and z2, so just a z. When I pull this out, my first term is left with a 2. 24 divided by 12 is 2, and a y. My second term, 60 divided by 12 is 5. I'm going to leave 3 x's in there. I'm going to leave 2 y's in there, and I'm going to leave 2 z's in there as well, once I pull out what's common. My last one, 48 divided by 12 is 4. I've got 2 x's that are coming out, that leaves 1. I've got 2 y's that are coming out, that's all of those. And then I've got 1 z that's coming out, so I'll be left with 1 z on that one. Factor the following trinomials. The way I like to do it is with logic. So how do I get that t squared? T times t. I need factors of 12 that add up to -1. So if I had a minus 4t and then plus 3t, that would give me my negative t in the middle, and -4 times 3 is -12. 46, I've got a times a, that's going to give me my a squared. I need 3 to 4, so if I had 3 a's and I added 1 more, that would give me my 4 a's, and then 3 times 1 is 3. This one's a little trickier. X times x will give me my x squared, and I need factors that are going to give me nothing left in the middle, so they've got to match -5 and +5. -25 on the outside, right here. Then -5x plus 5x, that will leave me with no x's in the middle. This one, p times p, will give me that p squared. Positive 9 and -6, so they both got to have the same sign, and they're both going to be negative. So -3 and -3, that gives me -3p minus another 3p, so 6 in the middle, and then 3 times 3 is 9. Set the above trinomials equal to 0. So this one, you'd have t minus 4 is equal to 0. That means t could be 4. And then you have t plus 3 could be 0. That means t could also be -3. Go into this one, a plus 3 could be 0, so a could be -3. Or a plus 1 could be 0, which means a could be -1 as well. This one, x minus 5 could be 0, so x could be +5. X plus 5 could be 0, so x could also be -5. This one, they're both the same, so I'll just do it one time. P minus 3 is equal to 0, so p could be +3. Unlike the other ones, the two factors match, so you will not have a different answer on that.